Trooping the color, escort to the color. That's what we're checking out today. We have no idea what we're getting into. This is apparently a parade celebrating the birthday of the British monarch. And that's basically the details that we've gotten. But we've been getting into UK content and the history of the UK and, learning a little bit more about both our heritages to a degree. I mean, my mom is from Guernsey, so obviously some English heritage there. And Sam's is English and Welsh, right?
That is correct.
So this is something that we should probably be aware of, right? If we want to be culturally aware of our identities. So I don't know what to expect on this. I've never heard of this before in my life.
Me
You
either.
haven't as well, right?
No.
But apparently it's pretty renowned and pretty significant. So I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah, me too. And we were also reading that this is a important part that the military plays in this as well. And we've also been doing more military content, so it fits in there as well.
All right. Without further ado, let's check out Trooping the Color.
Escort for the colour! In close order! Move! Dress!
The eyes front, which is achieved with no word of command given.
Just watching each other.
Escort for the colour will advance! By the left! Quick! March!
Subaltern gives the order. And the familiar tune of the British Grenadiers, arranged by Jacob Cappy.
Grenadiers.
The escort marching off with pride and purpose on its way to take possession of the colour.
The color. I think that's the flag.
So coordinated.
These hats must get hot, man.
And as we enjoy the escort on the move, Ben, it's worth thinking about the logistical problems they've had in recent months.
Yes,
Wow.
it is, Hugh. I
Look at
remember
that.
the year that we did it in 2009.
crazy.
We started our first rehearsal on the 27th of April in order to get us properly prepared for today. And of course, the Scots Guards, being based in Catterick, have had to move to Purbright, where they've conducted their rehearsals over the last 6 weeks or so. And I'm sure they're very much looking forward to returning to North Yorkshire in the coming week.
The place is huge, man.
The escort will stop some 20 paces from the colour party. The music stops, they'll be ready for that transfer to take place.
Escort for the colour! Halt! Escort for the colour! In open order! Right! Dress! Last bands will retire! About! Turner!
Senior Director of Music, Graham Jones, moving through the band to the front, ready for this next phase to begin.
He doesn't seem like he's in a real hurry, is he? Just like, you guys will hold this position for as long as I want you to.
Guy also has got a really loud voice to be able to communicate with
I
everybody.
was just going to say that. Like, he clearly does not need a megaphone.
No. Like no microphone or anything. You're just like belting it out. I was
This
like,
place
whoa.
is huge. This field is huge.
Yeah.
The
Well-
buildings look amazing as well.
Yeah, the architecture there is just insane. But it's funny because we, like Phil said, we don't know how much background on this, but it just said parade. So I was thinking more of like a street parade, but they're like in this field and there's stands and people are watching. So that's really cool.
I was waiting for somebody to bring in a football, soccer ball, to play some footy on this field. People have to do that on this field. I mean, maybe that's not allowed. I'm not really sure. Obviously, I'm not real accustomed to the geographical location here, and if it's something sacred that is only used for this purpose. But anyway, it's really cool how they're all coordinated as well.
Yeah,
right?
the coordination's awesome.
You can tell, like I've seen some parades, I won't name any countries, but that it's like disjointed or doesn't seem like there's a lot of chemistry there, or it's not taking seriously this portion of it, because you don't like, one of the things about military in history has been the uniformity of it, right? That the camaraderie of one fleet or army or infantry, that uniformity and that camaraderie adds an intimidation factor to a degree, because you feel like you're fighting a unit. You're not fighting individuals, you're fighting a unit.
Yeah. Also the discipline aspect of it as well, right?
Exactly. And that's what I think is important about this visualization and these drills and stuff.
It just seems so serious.
Is that you're disciplined and you take pride in being a part of this group.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
And I think that comes through on this for sure.
Jones moving through the band to the front, ready for
Same
this
last
next
name
phase
as-
to begin.
Guards! Turn!
Which way?
Change! Arms! Load! Arms!
Regimental Sergeant Major Warrant Officer 1 Ali Mackenzie marching from the rear of the escort. He'll be collecting the ensign. Lieutenant Tom Ogilvie on his way, and they will then go and collect the colour. Ali Mackenzie, who when he was an instructor at Sandhurst had as one of his cadets Officer Cadet Wales, now Prince William Duke of Cambridge, who's here today of course as one of the Royal Colonels.
Careful with that thing. Give me that. That's the color, I believe. Careful. Wonder how heavy that is.
They have such like sharp movements.
Escort to the colour! Present! Arms! Escort to the colour! Loud! Arms!
The ensign, Sergeant Major resume their positions with the escort. Interesting to note, of course, the escort for the colour previously has now become the escort to the colour, ready for that trooping to take place.
They lost me there.
Escort to the colour! Hands! Arms! Escort to the colour will advance by the centre! Slow! March!
All in unison.
The escort advances in slow time. The tune is Escort to the Colour, arranged by Lieutenant Colonel Richard Ridings.
March into the beat of the drum. That's where that comes from. Huh? You can see them every step. It's, when that heavy drum is hit, taking that next step. And It's so cool to see the outfits that they're wearing. They're very unique, and you don't see any other military attire quite like that in this day and age.
Yeah,
right?
no, I feel like it's evolved a lot past, like, nobody really dresses like that anymore. I feel like because I feel like this is more like traditional clothing.
Right. And then they've got these more modern weapons that they're carrying.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's very unique imagery that you're seeing.
But it's interesting because they still have like a sword, but then they have
Yeah.
a gun as well. Another thing that you probably didn't hear me say is that when they were passing off the flag or the color, like, their movements are so sharp.
Yeah.
It's regimented, but it's very sharp and emphasized with every little movement that they're doing.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be emphatic on purpose because it's supposed to be intimidating in a way,
Yeah, that's fair. Like strong.
Exactly.
Yeah.
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 By Lieutenant Colonel Richard Ridings. A mesmerizing maneuver, the spin wheel, performed by the mass bands, allowing them to change direction while keeping the same formation. It's a bit of a miracle. Among those enjoying the spectacle, Catherine, Duchess of Cambridge.
Duchess of Cambridge.
Escort forming into line. Very soon the band will cut out, and then we'll be ready for the formal trooping to begin.
Wow. Everybody's on their feet.
Guard! Present! Arms!
They got a bunch of horses up top there.
Every eye on the parade ground, trained on the colour. So to the tune of the Grenadiers' Slow March, the escort does its prime duty today. And the young guardsman chosen to carry the colour, to troop it down the ranks, is Lieutenant Tom Ogilvie. He was commissioned into the Scots Guards in December 2009. He deployed to Afghanistan last year. Certainly conscious of his family's military heritage. His great-great-uncle, Sir Gilchrist Ogilvie, served with the Scots Guards. He lost his life in the Great War.
Wow.
Very proud moment for Tom and his family, including his mother Helen, who's in the stands today. Colour presented by the Queen at Windsor back in 2002. That was the year of the Golden Jubilee, of course. Battle honours include the Falkland Islands, 1982, and Tumbledown Mountain, because 8 members of the battalion lost their lives, 41 were wounded in that battle. Ben, it's important, really important, to underline the significance of the colour today.
I think it is, Hugh. In many ways, his origins are rather old-fashioned, but today I always think relevance is as strong as ever, in the sense it is the manifest representation of the contribution of a particular regiment to the history of the British Army. And it's interesting to reflect, when you look at it, the battle honours that have seen the army adapt and to change to the differing circumstances, to the nature of conflict required at that specific time. And there's a history and a great story behind each one of those battle honours, which we're enormously proud of. Equally, I think that the medals are an interesting reflection on all that has been done by the British Army in the last 2 decades, really. I was first on this parade in 1992, and most Guardsmen on parade had a single medal in from their contribution to Northern Ireland, of course, and now many soldiers on parade have numerous medals, really reflecting the huge amount of conflict the Army's been involved in and the contribution these soldiers have all made.
Yeah, speaking of medals, that guy that was on screen there a moment ago, he had a lot on his chest. I don't know what that reference is, and how they give those. And also, they did talk about who gets selected, and I guess there's some family history that goes into that selection process. If your bloodlines, generations have been dedicated to being a disciplined servant of the royal family and the monarch, obviously, I guess that also includes other it's not just England, right? We're talking about the British monarchy here. So lots of importance and significance in that area of the world that, a lot of people probably anticipate this as a very important event. So it's pretty cool to see the cultural side of it, right?
Yeah, for sure. I think there's like different parts within there all have their own guard. Like I think there's the Scots Guard, there's like the Irish Guard, the Welsh Guard. So, there's different ones that are featured, I believe.
Mm-hmm. That's what it seems like. That's what it sounds cool. Like. Obviously, we're just getting bits and pieces here, guys, in a 12-minute video. So give us more insights down below as to the details of what transpires at this event.
Yeah, because we love to learn.
Conflict the Army's been involved in and the contribution these soldiers have all made.
Escort to the colour will advance. Left! Turn! Escort to the colour. Change! Arms! Guard! No!
That would be an intimidating sight back in the day.
Yeah.
Take those! Quick march!
Everybody's so quiet.
Yeah, I swear you could hear a pin
Numbers
drop.
1 to 5 guards will retire. Arm out. Turn.
Part 5. Well,
I guess they have the whole parade in different parts.
yeah, I guess we did part 4 here.
That's cool.
That's why it said there was a 4 at the beginning of the title.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, I mean, seems like this is a pretty big event. You guys can give us more insights on, if this is something that is, really discussed around different parts, different countries. Maybe there's different locations that it takes place at. Those are, things that off the top of my head, I would like to know about. But as I was saying there, the times have changed, but I could only imagine what it would have been like seeing, the British Army back in the day. Obviously we know that they had so much influence worldwide. Mm-hmm. And this was kind of like a glimpse into that to a degree. If you could travel back in time and you were on the battlefield, this is what you would see. And, puts things into perspective. But that's also why they probably do these, these parades to remember and reminisce about what transpired. And what has, allowed Britain to be such an influential force across the globe was a lot of these guys here that were taking part in doing the dirty work and staying disciplined and, being loyal. So world might look like a different place if we didn't have this stuff that we're seeing today.
Yeah, and I think this parade, for example, is a really cool way to honor tradition and history, but also bring that into modern society. I think a lot of people in today's society don't value history and tradition maybe as much as they did in the past. And I think that it's something that's important, like Phil said, to continue with.
I think in Britain, I think they still do.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing I haven't been there, but from afar, I seem to admire that about the culture it's prideful.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So I enjoyed watching this because I thought it was a really cool way to honor that tradition and history in a way that is making it a priority in the future.
All right, guys, give us those insights that we talked about in this one. We kind of went to a blind and still a little blind, to be honest. So
Yeah. It's cool to see, though.
You guys can help us see and drop a comment down below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. Have a great day, and we'll see you on the next video.
Thanks for watching.